Thank you, Mr. Qazi, for being with us these last 2 days. So I just want to start with a question about, what do you think outside scholars and researchers get wrong or maybe misunderstand about Islamist movements, including your own Jamaat-e-Islami in Pakistan?
Thank you for inviting us. I think one of the mistakes that is usually made is to lump all the movements and all the organizations under one label. And it includes political organizations, it includes dawah organizations, and it includes militant organizations. So one of the common mistakes is to lump all of them together and call it political Islam. Political Islam in its nature and in its essence is very different from the recent expressions of violent and militant Islam that we are seeing. Political Islam has been there for decades, for at least 60 or 70 years. And it is based on solid ideological foundations. There is a vast literature available to understand it. It presents a worldview, it presents a logical worldview that is applicable in modern times. It recognizes nation states and it recognizes constitutions of those states. So it will be very misleading to confuse them with the current expressions like Boko Haram and ISIS and these kinds of organizations. Movements like Jamaat-e-Islami that I represent, they believe in democratic values, they believe in Constitution of Pakistan, and they believe in bringing a change through education and training. So we want to bring change in leadership through winning hearts and minds. And it doesn't matter to us how much time it will take. We are content with the effort we are putting in, and we leave the results to God. If He wishes, He will give us success in terms of change in leadership. If He does not wishes so, it's up to Him. We are fulfilling our duty, and we must strive for a just cause. So we are content with our struggle.
So I suppose patience is a virtue, but it's not always a virtue in politics, and you seem to have a very long time horizon. And we're living in a time now where there are many younger people in the Middle East and the broader Muslim world who are frustrated. They want to see more results. They want to get something done. And if Jamaat-e-Islami, after many decades, so whether it's 50 years, 80 years, or another 100 years, and they're not seeing the kind of results they want, there is the risk that they start to lose faith in the project.
Yes, that's right. We must have a time frame and we must have a plan. We must have a strategic plan to achieve certain objectives. And there is frustrations, I understand that. And people think that we are taking too long. And if there are no results in a couple of next elections, maybe a large number of people will be disenchanted with this strategy. So we feel the urgency to show some result and so show some performance. It's not by design that we lose. Of course, it's a failure. And we should review our strategies and we should review our policies. And this review is currently going on inside the party and inside. So we are thinking of bringing some changes in our organizational structure. We are thinking of providing a broad-based organizational structure for elections. And we are thinking to tone down our ideological rhetoric when it comes to elections and when it comes to electoral politics. So the movement will take take care of the ideological dimensions, and the political wing will take care of elections and governance and the hard issues that people are facing.
So, but could you maybe say a bit more about what has pushed you and your movement to rethink certain things, whether organizationally or your approach to elections? What was the impetus for that? And is there something in particular in the last, say, 5 years, which you, as an official and a leader in the movement, that kind of pushed you to think, we have to rethink this, we have to maybe do this a little bit differently?
I think the limited approach that the organization has, and the organizational structure that allows only a limited number of people to be inducted on the organization. This has been felt for a long time, and I think already Jamaat-e-Islami has taken too long to make this decision. There were certain other movements in the region that took ideas from Jamaat-e-Islami and implemented them in their own countries, but it has been a failure for Jamaat-e-Islami to implement those very ideas that their literature generated.
Such as?
Like, it had to be a broad-based organization right from the beginning. And the literature of Maulana Maududi, if we study it, it invites the organization to be broad-based and to appeal to a larger and wider circle of people. It asks us to engage with the people and to be interested in their real issues, in their problems, in their mundane and worldly issues, not just the hereafter and the heaven. So I think this aspect has been ignored for a long time, and now we are feeling that this is the right time to implement those.
So it's still fairly difficult to join Jamaat-e-Islami and become a full-fledged member.
Yes, not by its because of its written constitution, but because of the traditions that have evolved throughout these last 6 or 7 decades. Somehow we have not been able to appeal to masses to join our organization. So we have appealed to them on issues, on certain ideological issues, and they have supported us on issues. But somehow they did not join our organization as members. So we need to take care of that dimension now.
So I want to ask you a question about the role of the army. And this is obviously a big issue in a country like Egypt with the military coup against the Muslim Brotherhood and Mohammed Morsi. Jamaat-e-Islami has a different relationship with the Pakistani military, which we can say is less negative or less antagonistic. Is there something that other Islamist movements in the Arab world can learn from how you've been able to develop, let's say, more positive relationships with the army and with state institutions more generally?
We have always thought that it is important to be in liaison with what is called deep state in the Middle East, or what is called establishment in Pakistan. It includes army and it includes other civil state organizations. We have always taken them into confidence on our policies. Even if our leadership visits a foreign country and there are sensitive issues involved, we think that it is necessary to keep them posted and keep them in confidence. So we have been in communication not only with our army leadership for the strategic interest of Pakistan, not to use our relations with the army as a backdoor to come into power. We have never done that. And we have always opposed army intervention into democratic process. And throughout history, we have offered sacrifices for it. But we think that it is important that they understand that we work for the welfare of Pakistan and we work for the welfare of the people of Pakistan. Uh, I think partly it has to do with the history of the creation of Pakistan, because Pakistan was created, it came into existence through a democratic process. So people actually created Pakistan, not the army. And Pakistan was created on the slogans and connotations of Islamic ideology, that Muslims are a different nation in the subcontinent and they have to lead their lives according to their values. So these slogans and the Pakistan movement, it's in the backdrop of all the state institutions of Pakistan. Yes. So we all function under that backdrop, and it has given us some ideological security.
Okay. And so one reason that I'm really fascinated by the Jamaat-e-Islami case in Pakistan is your model is a little bit different than, say, Muslim Brotherhood movements in the Middle East. Your movement and party haven't done, you've only won a handful of seats in recent elections, so you haven't experienced huge electoral success, but at the same time, you have been very successful in terms of achieving legislative goals, influencing state institutions, and shaping the national agenda and discourse. So that might seem counterintuitive to people. You haven't won elections, but you're winning in other ways. How does that work?
It probably has to do with the flaws in the electoral process and the free and fair nature of the elections. There always have been questions about the fairness of the elections and the fairness of the process of elections, because elections need winning horses or influential or very rich candidates. Probably we do not have that many of those rich and influential people. It might be a blessing as well in the backdrop of the Panama leaks currently. But it has to do with this electoral process. The educational approach that our workers and activists have taken, and the educational approach that the literature of our leadership and especially our founder Sayyid Maududi, it has played a big role in all this. His literature is logical, his literature is appealing to the modern educated person, and especially his commentary or tafsir of Quran is very popular, and you will see this tafsir in the personal library of anybody who is who in Pakistan. So be it a military general or a civil bureaucrat or any influential person. So this literature has also played a role, and the activism and outreach of our activists, they have played a role to educate the masses, to reach out and to get our message across. So we have been influential in that aspect, but not in elections, yes.
I just want to ask you a kind of final question or two about the role of Sharia in Pakistan. So there has been a lot of international media attention around blasphemy laws in Pakistan. That's been a controversial issue. What is your and your party's view on the future of blasphemy laws, which are sometimes misused or abused to target certain individuals? Has it gone too far? Is there a way to revise some of that legislation? How do you see this controversy that's been unfolding, especially in recent months?
I think this is true that we should stop the misuse of this law. Probably we don't think that the law itself needs changes, but we should stop the misuse. And if there is a false allegation on someone, so the person who levels this false allegation should also be liable to the similar penalty. On that, yes. Blasphemy law is a law in Pakistan, so it's part of the legal framework. And we think that just like any other law that is to be respected, the blasphemy law is also to be respected. In the recent event of Mumtaz Qadri, this was our plea that this is a law, and if the defendant wants his case to be heard in Sharia court, so let him take advantage because of the existing laws of Pakistan. We do not think that anyone has the right to kill someone on his own and decide, be the judge on his own and be the executor on his own. But if somebody has already done it, he should be tried according to the existing law of the country.
Yeah, but it's not, the blasphemy law is not part of the Constitution, so it can be changed. It can be subject to legislative amendment. So if it has become a problem in Pakistan, shouldn't Jamaat-e-Islami at least be open to the possibility of revising the legislation, or you feel that would be a step too far?
If some people wants to make changes, they always have the option of bringing it into parliament, and nobody stops them from bringing it to the parliament, and it will be debated in the parliament, and let the parliament decide what the law should, what shape the law should take.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having us.